The Apple Watch currently has another secret, because of watchOS 9. For what reason would you say you are just bringing this now, Apple? There's been something that is messing with me for quite a long time about the Apple Watch, explicitly the manner in which it's utilized as a preparation device for running. Most would agree that Apple's watch has been in a vertical direction with respect to its run-following ability throughout the long term. All things considered, the primary manifestation didn't have GPS ready, so it was generally futile as a wellness buddy for sprinters without a telephone present. With each watch cycle from that point forward, Apple has made sluggish and strong enhancements, and the organization truly ventured things up with the send-off of watchOS 9 at WWDC 2022, adding various new components, for example, organized span preparing and adjustable information screens to make it a genuine wellness friend. Nonetheless, while the Apple Watch has consistently had a pulse screen, it's never had something that I believe is an absolute minimum to be viewed as the best running watch: pulse preparing. What does pulse preparing mean? It's where you attempt and keep your preparation in a particular zone all through your exercise on the off chance that you're attempting to get fitter. Keeping a specific pulse can help you more than depending on keeping up a speed, as territory or muscle issues would mean you can't be basically as quick as you'd like. Train with a pulse, nonetheless, and you can ensure you're filling in as hard, or not, in the event that you're attempting to keep things chilled on a simple run, as you need all through. Going up a slope and dialing back? Your pulse will not be, believe me. So you could say that it's extraordinary that Apple, at last, has this element on the watch with this new programming. However, here's that secret: why now? Given Apple has had a pulse screen on the wrist for quite a while, it might have effortlessly permitted clients to set their zones, or done it consequently founded on one's greatest pulse, which it's had the option to quantify for a really long time, and afterward gave cautions to tell them while they're dropping out of an ideal reach. So, Apple might have carried this element with the main Apple Watch quite a long time back. So for what reason, right? Almost certainly, Apple didn't do this due to a peculiarity known as cardiovascular drift, opens in new tab, where other physiological elements, from unfortunate hydration or nourishment to an absence of significant level wellness, mean a similar measure of exertion will yield a consistently expanding pulse throughout the span of an exercise. That implies you'll wind up working harder to remain in a similar zone all through a more extended run, which sort of nullifies the point and could undoubtedly demotivate fresher sprinters, who the Apple Watch has generally been focused on. All in all, once more, for what reason would you say you are doing this now, Apple? Indeed, the brand has further developed the product calculations with watchOS 9, and that implies it can all the more precisely pinpoint your pulse from the wrist, and that would conceivably mean it could eliminate heart float. However, that appears to be improbable. Maybe this is on the grounds that wrist-based pulse checking has never been pretty much as precise as utilizing a chest tie to quantify your pulse, something Apple transparently concedes to, opens in new tab, and just with the new moves up to its product is Apple ready to feel sure about its capacity to convey exact pulse information. All things considered, pulse preparing is an element that rivals Polar and Garmin have been presenting for a really long time, and is one of many key benefits their clients have delighted in over the Apple Watch, so it's been odd Apple has shunned it for such a long time. In the event that the choice to defer this element is down to precision, that has neither rhyme nor reason, rivals like Garmin frequently advance the utilization of a chest-based pulse screen, and produce their own, through Apple seldom features that you're even ready to interface one and presumably doesn't have any desire to slander its own equipment on the watch by pushing the need to interface accomplices to receive the best in return. There's another secret: Apple's new running power metric. This is something of a shock, continuing in the strides of other very good quality wellness brands to accomplish running power without the requirement for an extra sensor on the shoe or comparable. What the watch is checking with power, utilizing its capacity to follow your movement, is how much power you're removing with each progression, giving an outcome in watts, a typical measure for power across numerous stages. Running power checking is, hypothetically, a preferred estimation of result over pulse. Keep in mind, there's no general method for observing power. Similarly, you'll get different advance counts with various wellness groups, yet as long as Apple can be predictable in its running power criticism, then, at that point, this ought to be a superior method for checking how you're performing over pulse zones. I'm anticipating getting the completed rendition of watchOS 9 on another Apple Watch in the not-so-distant future and giving the new measurements a decent attempt in the event that they function admirably. I can kind of excuse them not being around as of recently. However, I actually think Apple has been keeping these highlights down deliberately for reasons unknown. The Apple Watch has still got quite far to go to beat the best. Garmin keeps an eye out there, yet it might have been drawn a little nearer with these redesigns.